Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the trades we took on Friday, as well as the plan going into this week. So, Friday, I'm pretty sure, I think I did recap this on the last video, but I'm just going to go over it again for those that missed it. But Friday was a good day. I mean, the market flipped bullish, or it was bullish on Friday. If we go to the 30-minute chart here on the 600 calls, as you guys know, when the 10 is above the 50 SMA on the Friday contracts, that means we're trending. And since these are calls, that means we're trading bullish. Why? Again, 10's above the 50, 50's flat or curling up here. Like back in this initial area right here, in the 10 went above the 50, market was still neutral because that 50 was sloped down. The 50 SMA is very important when taking crosses. That goes for the 30-minute and the 0-day chart. The 50 can never be sloped down when you're taking a cross or for it to be a valid cross. So this market is, the market's not considered to be bullish or trending until that 50 SMA is sloped up. So yeah, so since the 10 was above the 50, we're trending bullish. Our focus is on the long side. You don't want to be taking trades in the direction of like the opposite side of the trend. You want to be taking trades in the direction of the trend. So with that being said, you go to the 0-day chart, then 5-minute time frame, and then right off the open you can see we got the 0 DT call cross. This is like the most like probable setup there is in a trending market. We get a 0 DT cross in the direction of the trend. That is like probably the best setup there is when it comes to the system. So this is how we played it. 10 went above the 50 here, but like this opening, this opening candle though. So what you want to do is not immediately jump in this right off the bat. Like we know it's gonna cross, but you want to wait because chasing this opening candle all the way up here, the contracts hit like 115 a piece. The 10 and the 50 didn't even cross yet at the open, so pretty much you just wait for the pullback to around the 10 SMA, and you just got to be able to understand that, because if you chase this all the way up here, you're gonna get burnt if we get a pullback to the 10, where you're gonna be down like 50 to like 80 points maybe on NQ on this pullback, and then that would be like your entry point. So for it to come back up to your entry point, you're just missing out on gains. And yeah, sometimes like on these opening moves, that this just keeps running, but I just don't like the risk to reward at that point. I want to wait for that pullback. We got the pullback here to the 10. I went long, I think. Let me check the Discord, but I think it was a little bit after open, 9:45. I went long, so that was like, yeah, that was on this candle right here, because I saw we got a little wick here. I'm like, okay, this might not even come all the way back down to the 10, but I went long on NQ here. I held this all the way through this dip right here. I was up a little bit around here, I think like 40 points maybe. I was up like 40 points there, maybe 50, but I was still holding this because I wanted more than that. So I did take a trim at 40, and then I just continue to hold this position just because I know the market's bullish and most likely this is going to continue higher. It's just a matter of whether this is going to pull back first to the 50, then go, or just immediately go. So we ended up getting the pullback to the 50, which you could have added more here. That's exactly what I did. I added more short, or not short, more long at this 50, because when we are trending, you could buy this 50 dip. So a lot of times when we do trend, this 50 doesn't give out until like maybe the end of the day. But a lot of times we hold this thing throughout the whole entire day. All the dips get eaten up, as you can see, dip down the 50 there, and this dip got soaked up, and that ended up marking the bottom for quite some time. So yeah, I mean, you could have either taken this trade right here, taken the 50 dip, or not the 50 dip, taken this like little 10 SMA dip, and then got like 40-50 points, or I would just recommend holding this. I mean, like, the trend's bullish, so most likely this is going to continue higher. Use a stop loss at the 50, but I mean, I really wouldn't see two trades happening here. I'd stick to just holding it, and then like adding more at the 50. But yeah, I got about 60 points at NQ on this. It was a weird trade. I went over this in the last video, but NQ is a bit weaker. Like if you pulled up the QQQ chart and the SPY chart, they were moving a lot differently. NQ was a lot weaker versus ES, so ES was definitely the better one to go with. You definitely probably would have squeezed out more points on this initial move up, but then NQ did start to catch up on the second leg up. But we still able to capitalize on that. And then the rest of the day, I mean, we never really came all the way down to the 50 SMA. Like exactly, like we got these dips, which I mean came close to the 50, but never exactly tapped it until we broke below it. So this dip down here, maybe you could have scaled in a little bit, but there really wasn't the best entry point, as we didn't like come that close to the 50. So that's just how it is. Sometimes we won't tap the 50 SMA exactly. But I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point because you got this like beauty trade right here. We got the cross, and then we got the 50 dip right there, and then we got a big move. So I mean, really, all you needed was this first half of the chart. Second half really doesn't matter at this point. I mean, you're already up big from this cross and 50 dip. So I mean, best to just pack it up at that point. Maybe scalp some more on the long side, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we did on Friday. Very simple day. 30 minutes bullish, we focus on longs. 0-day chart gives us the entries, and that's pretty much how you trade the system every single day. Is look at the 30 minutes, see what we're doing. If we're crossed on the calls, okay, we're bullish, focus on longs. 0-day chart will guide you in the direction, like getting a cross, getting the 50 dips, things like that. If the market's bearish, same thing. If the market's neutral, which means neither side is crossed, that means the 10 is below the 50 on the 30 minute. That means, we know that there's no trend in the market. You could expect some chop, may not get the biggest moves in the world, but what you have to do then is just take 0 DT crosses either side. So that's like the great thing about the system, man. We have a plan for both sides. We know when to focus on one side, when we're trending, and then when we're neutral, we know when to expect maybe not as good action or not as big of moves because we are neutral. There's no trend, so it's less likely that we do get a continuation move. So yeah, that's what we did Friday going into the week. I'm not exactly sure what SPY's at right now, but probably they're going to get the 600s or the 605s. Pretty much same thing for both charts. I mean, 30 minutes crossed on the 600s. If we go to the 605s, these are crossed as well. Higher time frames. We do have this 4-hour 50, which would definitely be a spot that we could reject from if we continue higher. Because if we open tomorrow, most likely this is going to come down a bit more to like under $4 a contract. So once we get up near this 4-hour 50, I would definitely expect a pullback if we don't get one before then. Just because it's sloped down really hard. 4-hour time frame, that's a major resistance area, and like I said, sloped down super hard. I'd expect us to reject on the first initial tap of it. So once we get up near this 4-hour 50, I wouldn't be the most bullish in the world. I'd imagine we get some sort of pullback from that 4-hour 50, but until we hit there, I'm pretty sure there's not any areas of resistance at that point. I mean, if we go to the 2-hour, I'm pretty sure yeah, we already closed above the 2-hour 50. So I mean, next stop is that 4-hour 50 if we continue this pump. And also, it is possible that we get overbought on the 0-day chart tomorrow if we continue higher. I know we were kind of close to it on Friday, so if this rip continues, we may get overbought. If you guys don't know what overbought is, I'll explain it in the next video if we get to it. But it's pretty much the only time where you stray away from the 0 DT chart. So the 0-day chart, you go to the 30-minute time frame, find where the 50 SMA is on the 30-minute time frame, and then multiply by 4, multiply by 5 to get the values of the overbought area. If the contracts are less than 1, that's what you do. So if we're at 0.80 where the 50 SMA is, then you multiply by 4, multiply by 5, and if the contracts are over $1, then you add 4.5 and add add 3.5, add 4.5 to get the levels. So that might sound completely confusing. I'll go over it if we get to it. It doesn't happen too often, but it's good to know, when we reach it, if we do. So, yeah, because a lot of times that marks tops and bottoms in the market. A lot of times after we hit overbought, we end up coming right back down to the 30-minute 50. Maybe we get an initial bounce off it, but then we end up breaking below it. So, it's pretty much the trend ender a lot of the time. Same thing with the 4-hour 50 and daily 50. Those higher time frame areas of resistance, and then the overbought levels are really good indicators of where a top or bottom may be forming, depending on what the contracts are. So yeah, that's the plan going into tomorrow. Like I said, 30 minutes bullish still. So until we reach that 4-hour 50, we're focus is going to be on the long side. 0 DT cross on calls, 50 SMA dip on calls will be the move. If for some reason puts cross, then wait for that chart on the 0-day chart to go negative to go long. So, those are all the trades that you want to be taking going into tomorrow. We're still focused on the bull side since that 30-minute is crossed. If we do get a major dip, look for a 30-minute 50 dip. So if we come all the way back down into this 30-minute 50, that could also be a good spot to long. If puts are crossed, though, when we come in this area, then I would just wait for the negative cross to be sure that we do bounce from that 50. So that's a safer option because sometimes we do come down at 50 and break right through it if puts are crossed. But like I said, it's always best to wait for the puts to go negative, and then from there that's a really good long trade. So if for some reason the 30-minute 50 gives tomorrow, then market may get sent neutral and we get a big dump. So in that case, look for a put cross. if we're not already crossed. Let's say we do get a cross, we're still at that 50, and then we finally break below it even more. Just look for like a 10 SMA reclaim, because at that point market will be neutral, and you don't buy 50 dips. You wait for the 10 SMA to be reclaimed. So that's pretty much all of the scenarios going into tomorrow on what to play and how to play it. So just you just gotta wait for a setup to come. Whatever way the market gives us, we're gonna catch a move, and that's the great thing about the system. So yeah, if you guys want to follow along with the trades that I take, link to the Discord is down below. I run Discord with Colton, the creator of the system. So you get both of us in there. He's been posting some good options trades. I've been sticking with futures. So ton of trades to be taken and money to be made. So link to that's down below if you want to be a part of it. I'm in there pretty much throughout the whole entire day, giving like what I want to be taking in the market and what I'm looking for. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. I'm out. Peace.